Welcome to Guest for Change. My name is Michaela and I'm the Head of Sustainability for the Guestlist. We warmly welcome Stylianee Parascha as our guest on this episode today. She is a sustainable fashion and communication consultant as well as president of Fashion Revolution Luxembourg. Fashion Revolution was founded after the Rana Plaza disaster in 2013 and has gone on to become the world's biggest fashion activism movement for global change. We are very grateful for your time, Stylianee, and are humbled and excited to learn more about your perspective of circularity. So without further ado, let's dive into things.
How did it start? Actually, my last job in Greece, before I leave Greece, was a fashion designer, but not by education. I mean, I am self-taught. And so that was the last job I had here. And at that brand, we were doing upcycling. Even if it was actually 11 years ago or 12 years ago. I mean, it was kind of a very like fast forward brand somehow, and we were experimenting with all these ideas. And so I had that experience already. And then at some point around 2014, I started doing upcycling workshops with Caritas in Luxembourg, because they also were running a campaign called Fashion Victims, mainly focusing on the social side, of course, on the workers that are being abused. And I think it started from there, you know, the idea of me doing like my own brand. And then I decided that Fashion Revolution is needed in Luxembourg and someone has to start it. So I started it together with Caritas the first year. So we launched the campaign, we did a huge event, so we continued and we are still keeping it up, even if I think, with COVID, I mean, you know, I find it harder to just do digital stuff. Fashion is cool, right? And sustainable fashion needs to be cool as well. So what I do, I mean, the way I am planting the seed in like just everyday conversations and everyday life, making it people understand that you can be cool and that you can be stylish by wearing secondhand and by wearing your things longer and not just once, not only, you know, for one Instagram photo, basically. But there are other ways. I mean, there are other ways, but these are more complex, I would say, by throwing events, by bringing the community together, by starting the discussion, basically. I think this is the essential thing. You have to start the discussion because people don't always relate, you know, fashion with chemicals, with toxicity, fashion with abuse, with child labor, with cruelty in animals. I mean, sometimes they do, but not everyone, you know.
So I just want to understand on your perspective, what does circularity actually mean to you?
Yeah, so circularity, I mean, is many, I mean, it has many elements in it. Wearing secondhand is one way of being circular, I guess. I mean, because you're extending the life cycle of a garment. But circularity in fashion starts with design. Design in a way that the pieces of the parts of the clothing can be, like, you know, taken apart and recycled properly, because some of them, of course, are not made of the same material. But then at the same time, it has to be a monomaterial to be recycled. But I think we have to focus more on R&D to make circularity possible, because right now in fashion, it's not great. I mean, we cannot do too much. We cannot recycle everything. Design also for a second life. I mean, there are many possibilities already in the design phase, you know. You can create a shirt that then can be turned into a skirt, or it can be turned into, I mean, whatever, a dress. This is really up to the designer to come up with creative ideas to make the consumer basically keep the products longer. And then, of course, a take-back system is essential, in my opinion, for every brand. And if not for every brand, it could be probably a secondary supplier that is doing it. The consumer also is not really aware. He doesn't realize that he has to recycle clothes. I think we are more aware of probably recycling paper, but and bottles, probably plastic bottles, fine. We all know we have to do it, but I think we are not there yet for clothes. I mean, I imagine a different world in a few years, and I think there's a lot of action right now. I mean, more discussion than action, but still some action as well. So I think in 10 years' time, I see a different world, a different fashion world. We don't go very fast in fashion. Fashion is such a traditional business, unfortunately, very reluctant to change, but also this is human nature, very reluctant to change. They really want to just stick to what they know. And it costs, it costs. So that's another element. H&M introduced this machine, and H&M, okay, is kind of really trying a lot, even if they are a fast fashion brand, but they are, investing. They have introduced this, machine that recreates basically the garments. You bring garments there, and then you go home with something new, and it's actually in a matter of hours. And I actually had a similar idea, and I think this is a great idea. This is very exciting. To really recycle on the spot in a way, to somehow keep the personal, connection with an item. So this is something that I see in the future much more, probably in every shop or in every mall, that you just go, you throw your stuff, and then you go back 5 hours later, or like the day after, and then you get back something else. Also, I think resale, the numbers show that resale is going up. It's going to be huge. Everybody is going to be just buying, secondhand, and like also luxury items, of course, because luxury items ideally are made to last. And this is why you can really sell them and sell them again, and they're always going to look fabulous. What else do I see? For me, new materials are very, very essential. They're part of the future. But I also see a very slow progress there. But let's hope, maybe not in 5 years, but in 10.
If businesses don't actually change their ways in the next 5 years, do you think that doom and gloom is actually more foreseeable?
That is a difficult question, and I don't want to be a Cassandra, but this planet will be, alive, but it's a matter of how it will look like, So there's all these dystopic books that we were reading when we were kids, and I was like huge fan of Aldous Huxley and all this stuff. It just might not look like, it might not look the way we would like it to look. I love nature personally, so I don't even know how nature will look like later on if we don't start changing.
Do you think technology is actually helping or hindering us in the mission towards a greener future?
So technology is supposed to help, and I think it's helping a lot, but that AI basically consumes a vast amount of energy. I don't know if I don't know, not many people know that. And I do love AI, and it facilitates life, obviously, but it does consume a lot of energy. Tons, megatons, I don't know how they're called. And people are not really bothering, because they find it so useful. So there are things to also change there, So technology is helping, definitely. But I would say all the industries have to align. It's not about fashion industry anymore. It's about basically all the industries kind of working hand in hand, basically be more established, so that then at least the energy that we are spending will be at least renewable energy, because we need to consume this energy. There's no other way. Technology was always there. The garments we are making could not exist without technology, right? We need sewing machines, and we need all those industrial machines for fashion to exist, basically. It's not anymore at the tailor and custom-made phase that it used to be. I love technology, but we have to be careful. Not us, but the ones who are building the tools and the ones who are using the tools. But also mass customization, for instance, can only be made reality thanks to technology. And it's a wonderful solution. I love mass customization, and many, many, many good solutions that can come out of there. Sustainability and circularity in fashion, they need to be like an element. They need to be the norm, but at the same time, fashion still needs to be affordable. And this is a very complex, thing, And I don't know if this is something that we can make happen, because, how can all these things go together? people are unfortunately brainwashed and led to believe, that fast fashion prices are the real prices of garments. But this is not true. I mean, we know that a garment that is fairly made and that is made out of the right materials is much more expensive. Now, I don't know if it's possible to really, maybe in 2 generations' time, to really kind of go back in time, like in the time of our grandparents, for instance. And our grandparents, they knew very well the cost of an item, of a clothing item. But at that time, of course, mass production was not, a thing. So clothes were less, they were more loved, they were, more cherished, they were worn for longer, and all these items were more expensive. Probably they were not luxury, but they were quality items. So luxury is a synonym of quality, and it definitely is part of sustainable fashion. But as I say, I think people complain about, in general, some people complain about the price point, and they want, this democratic feel of fashion. And this is what they say fast fashion gave us, like democratization of fashion. But at the same time, not really, because it's a bit impersonal. Everybody looks the same, in my opinion. So what I like about luxury, and what I would like to see more, now that you mention it, is to have kind of limited, collections and limited pieces, etc. I always love this element of, not looking like someone else, knowing that it's probably only 10 people wearing the same thing, or only 20 people, like in the whole planet or something. I mean, it makes me feel unique in a way.
Thank you so much for your time.